Space Jam is a 1996 American live-action animated sports family comedy film starring Michael Jordan and featuring the Looney Tunes characters. The film was produced by Ivan Reitman, and directed by Joe Pytka, with Tony Cervone and Bruce W. Smith directing the animation. A fictional account of Jordan's first retirement from the NBA, the film was released theatrically by Warner Brothers under the Family Entertainment brand label on November 15, 1996. It plays out as an alternate story of Jordan's initial return to basketball, this time with him being inspired by Bugs Bunny and Friends. Despite mixed critical reviews, Space Jam opened at number 1 in the US and grossed over $230 million worldwide. Plot: in 1993, professional basketball player Michael Jordan announces his retirement from the NBA to follow in his father's footsteps and turns to a career in baseball. Despite his popularity, Jordan's talent for baseball is nowhere near his talent for basketball. Meanwhile in Lux, a group of criminal aliens led by their boss Mr. Swickhammer, plot to capture the Looney Tunes, who really exist in a secret animated world called Looney Tune Land, and make them their newest attractions at Moron Mountain, a failing amusement park. Swickhammer believes enslaving the Tunes in this way will bring in more customers and save Moron Mountain from foreclosure. They arrive in Toonland, and since the aliens aren't very intelligent or tall, the Tunes bargain for their freedom by challenging the Lux to a basketball game. To ensure their victory, the Lux return to Earth and steal the talents of Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, Charles Barkley, Muggsy Bogues, and Shawn Bradley, who are rendered incapable of playing basketball as a result. Through their basketball, the Lux absorbed the stolen talent into their bodies, and transform into gigantic creatures, now called the monsters, that the Looney Tunes are unable to defeat. To help the Tunes win the game, Bugs Bunny abducts and recruits Michael Jordan, who reluctantly agrees to help after the monsters squash him into the shape of a basketball and bounce him around like one. A new arrival named Lola Bunny, on whom Bugs develops a crush, is added to the team thanks to her talent. Bugs and Daffy Duck go to Jordan's house to collect what he needs to play, barely dodging his family dog Charles. Jordan's publicist, Stan Podolak, sees Bugs and Daffy return to Toonland, follows them, and stays to support Jordan, whose team will be called the Toon Squad. Back on Earth, the sudden inability of 5 top NBA players to play basketball captures the attention of the media, and the rest of the NBA, as more and more NBA teams refuse to take the court, fearing the same phenomenon will attack them. The 5 NBA players themselves go through a series of physical, medical, psychological and spiritual tests to figure out why they have no talent anymore, to no avail. Eventually all NBA stadiums are quarantined and the season is declared officially over until further notice. Back in Looney Tune Land, the two teams take the court. Despite Jordan's leadership, the monsters dominate the first half of the game. Stan sneaks into the monsters' locker room and overhears them talking about how they stole the talent from the NBA players, but he is detected despite hiding in a locker and scorched as a result. Stan then informs Jordan and the Toon Squad that the monsters stole the talent from the NBA players. Bugs then motivates the team with a special drink, and the monsters' commanding lead is reduced to a significantly smaller margin. Seeing Swickhammer angry that the monsters did not steal Jordan's talent, Jordan takes the chance to raise the stakes. If the Toon Squad wins, the monsters must give the NBA players their talent back, but if they lose, then Swickhammer is to spare the Looney Tunes in exchange for Jordan. He readily accepts it and Bugs tries to talk him out of it, all the while being aware of what it means if Jordan is subjected to humiliation on Moron Mountain for all time. As the game resumes, the monsters, under orders from Swickhammer, begin playing even dirtier than before. As a result, the Looney Tunes are injured, one by one, until only Jordan, Bugs, Lola, and Daffy are left, leaving them short one player. In the process, Bugs saves Lola from being squashed by one of the monsters, which fills Lola with gratitude, and she kisses him. Reluctantly, Jordan puts Stan in the game, and though he is quickly taken out of action, he manages to bring the Monstars' lead down to 1. With 10 seconds left, Marvin the Martian, the referee, tells them that if there is no 5th player, the team will forfeit the game. At the last second, Bill Murray, who had played golf with Jordan earlier in the film, appears in the stadium and joins the team, breaking the fourth wall along the way, as Swickhammer quips, "I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture," referring to Murray's co-star from Ghostbusters. With only seconds left, Murray pulls some clever maneuvering and gets the ball to Jordan. Extending his arm to superhuman lengths, Jordan makes the basket and wins the game. Although Murray has always dreamed of being an NBA player, and Jordan is impressed with his skills, Murray decides to retire from basketball forever. Jordan then helps the monsters realize that they're bigger than Mr. Swickhammer, who confronts them for losing. Fed up with their abusive boss, the monsters tie him up to a rocket and send him to the moon. At Jordan's request, they reluctantly return the stolen talent to the other players by transferring them to a basketball, which is how they stored the stolen talent earlier in the film. This reverts the monsters back to the tiny Ndlucks. Refusing to return to Moron Mountain, the Ndlucks decide to stay with the Looney Tunes, who only agree if the Ndlucks can prove themselves to be loony, which they arguably complete on the spot. As Jordan leaves, he tells Bugs to stay out of trouble. Bugs assures him he will and shares a kiss with Lola. After Jordan and Stan return to Earth in the Ndlucks spaceship, Jordan makes a dramatic appearance with Stan at a baseball game to the cheers of the audience, despite being late. The next day, Jordan and Stan give the stolen talent back to the NBA players, who immediately regain their lost skills. Jordan is later prompted by his rivals to return to the NBA, mirroring his real-life comeback with the Chicago Bulls. Cast, live-action cast, Michael Jordan as himself, a professional basketball player who retires from the NBA to pursue a career in baseball, which is what his father wanted him to do, but returns to basketball in the end. Brandon Hammond as young Michael Jordan. Wayne Knight as Stanley "Stan" Podolak, a publicist who makes sure nobody bothers Michael Jordan. Teresa Randall as Juanita Jordan, Michael Jordan's supportive wife. The character is based on Jordan's real-life wife at the time. Bill Murray as himself, one of Michael Jordan's friends and an aspiring basketball player, though Jordan doubts his abilities. Following his play with the Toon Squad, Murray impresses Jordan but decides to retire while still on top and undefeated. Larry Bird as himself, one of Michael Jordan's friends and golfing partners. He crashes Bill Murray's dream of playing in the NBA. Thom Barry as James A. Jordan, Sr., Michael Jordan's father. Manor Washington as Jeffrey Jordan, Michael Jordan's older son. Eric Gordon as Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's younger son. Penny Bauer Bridges as Jasmine Jordan, Michael Jordan's daughter. Dan Castellaneta as male New York Knicks fan, Patricia Heaton as female New York Knicks fan, Del Harris, NBA coach, as himself, Charles Barkley as himself, of the Phoenix Suns, who gets his talent stolen by Pound. Patrick Ewing as himself, of the New York Knicks, who gets his talent stolen by Bang. Sean Bradley as himself, of the Philadelphia 76ers, who gets his talent stolen by Blanco. Larry Johnson as himself, of the Charlotte Hornets, who gets his talent stolen by Bupkis. Muggsy Boggs as himself, of the Charlotte Hornets, who gets his talent stolen by Nort. Of the 5 NBA players whose talents were stolen by the Ndlucks, 3 of them were playing for different teams in real life by the time the film was released. Barkley was playing for the Houston Rockets, Bradley for the New Jersey Nets, and Johnson now a teammate of Ewing's on the Knicks. Voice cast: because the movie was made after the death of Mel Blanc, the character voices he originated were performed by other actors. Billy West provides the voices of Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd. D. Bradley Baker provides the voices of Daffy Duck, the Tasmanian Devil, Toro, a bull that attacks the Monster Pound during the game after Daffy paints his shorts red. Bob Bergen provides the voices of Porky Pig, Tweety, Marvin the Martian, Hubie and Bertie, a pair of mice who act as the commentators of the game. Credited as Herbie and Bert respectively. Bill Farmer provides the voices of Yosemite Sam, Foghorn Leghorn, the Roadrunner, Sylvester. June Foray provides the voice of Granny, Witch Hazel. Stan Freberg provides the voice of Chester the Terrier, although uncredited. Maurice LaMarche provides the voice of Pepper. Copyright Le Pew. Colleen Wainwright provides the voice of Sniffles. Wainwright also voiced Glucknort. Kath Soucie provides the voice of Lola Bunny, a female rabbit who plays for the Toon Squad. Lola is a new character introduced in this film. Frank Welker provides the voice for Charles, Michael's pet bulldog who menaces both Bugs and Daffy when they are in Michael's house. Welker also voiced Barnyard Dawg, although uncredited. Danny DeVito provides the voice of Mr. Swickhammer, the proprietor of the theme park Moron Mountain, for which he seeks new attractions to save his failing business. He's also the film's main antagonist. The voices of the Nlux are provided by Jocelyn Blue, Charity James, June Melby, Catherine Reitman, and Colleen Wainwright. The voices of the monsters are provided by Darnell Suttles, Steve Keller, Joey Cameron, Dorian Harewood, and T.K. Carter. Music. The soundtrack sold enough albums to be certified as 6x Platinum. It also served as a high point for musical artist R. Kelly, whose song I Believe I Can Fly not only was a hit, but earned him 2 Grammy Awards. Other tracks included a cover of Steve Miller Band's Fly Like an Eagle, Hit 'Em High, Basketball Jones, and For You I Will. The movie's title song was performed by the Quad City DJs. Merchandise, video games. There was a licensed pinball game by Sega based on the film and a video game for the PlayStation, Sega Saturn and Windows PC by Acclaim. Home media. The film was released on VHS, DVD, and Laserdisc on March 11, 1997. On October 28, 2003 the film was released as a 2-disc special edition DVD including newly made extras such as a commentary track and a featurette. On November 6, 2007 the movie was featured as one of the films in Warner Bros.' 4 Film Favorites, Family Comedies Collection DVD. On February 8, 2011 the first disc of the previous 2-disc edition was released by itself in a movie-only edition DVD, and later that same year on October 4, 2011 the film was released for the first time in widescreen HD on Blu-ray which, save for an hour of classic Looney Tunes shorts, ported over all the extras from the 2003 2-disc edition DVD. Toys were released coinciding with the film, such as Happy Meal promotion, action figures, stuffed toys, etc. Reception. Critical response. As of December 2011, review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gives the film a score of 35% based on 49 reviews. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave Space Jam a thumbs up, as did Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune, although his zeal was more subdued. In his print review, Ebert gave the film 3.5 stars out of 4, noting, "Space Jam is a happy marriage of good ideas, 3 films for the price of 1, giving us a comic treatment of the career adventures of Michael Jordan, crossed with a Looney Tunes cartoon and some showbiz warfare. The result is delightful, a family movie in the best sense." 1. Siskel focused much of his praise on Jordan's performance, saying, "He wisely accepted as a first movie a script that builds nicely on his genial personality in an assortment of TV ads. The sound bites are just a little longer." 2. Leonard Maltin also gave the film a positive review, stating, "Jordan is very engaging, the vintage characters perform admirably. And the computer-generated special effects are a collective knockout." 3. Todd McCarthy of Variety praised the film for its humor. He also praised the Looney Tunes antics and Jordan's acting. In the middle of road in terms of reviews, although Janet Maslin of the New York Times criticized the film's animation, she later went on to say that the film is a fond tribute to the Looney Tunes characters past. Michael Wilmington of the Chicago Tribune complained about some aspects of the movie, stating, "We don't get the co-stars' best stuff. Michael doesn't soar enough. The Looney Tuners don't pulverize us the way they did when Chuck Jones, Friz Fling or Bob Clampett were in charge." Yet overall he also liked the film, giving it 3 stars and saying, "Is it cute? Yes. Is it a crowd pleaser? Yup. Is it classic? Nope." 4. Other critics were less than kind. TV Guide gave the movie only 2 stars, calling it a cynical attempt to cash in on the popularity of Warner Brothers cartoon characters and basketball player Michael Jordan, inspired by a Nike commercial. 5. Rob Vo of the Flipside Movie Emporium called it an empty, soulless corporate product, designed for one purpose, to separate us from our wallets. 6. Margaret A. McGurk of the Cincinnati Enquirer gave the film 2.5 stars, saying, "Technical spectacle amounts to nothing without a good story." 7. Veteran Looney Tunes Merry Melodies director Chuck Jones was highly critical of the film. In a 1998 interview, he expressed his views that the film was terrible, and said, "As a man who worked with the characters for almost 30 years, the story was deeply flawed. I can tell you, with the utmost confidence," he said, "Porky Pig would never say 'I think I wet myself.'" He also added that, were the film more true to the source material, Bugs Bunny would not have incorporated the help of Jordan or the other Looney Tunes characters to defeat them. Lux. Bugs wouldn't have needed anyone's help, he said, and moreover, it wouldn't have taken him an hour and a half. Those aliens, whether they were tiny or colossal, would have been dealt with in short order come the 7-minute mark. Box office. Space Jam was a box office success. At the end of its run, it grossed $90,418,342 in the United States and over $230 million internationally. It is the highest-grossing basketball movie of all time. Accolades: 1997 and 1998 ASCAP Film and Television Music Awards, 1. Most Performed Songs from Motion Pictures, 1. Top Box Office Films. 1997 Annie Awards, 1. Best Individual Achievement, Technical Achievement, Nomination, Best Animated Feature, Nomination, Best Individual Achievement, Directing in a Feature Production, Nomination, Best Individual Achievement, Producing in a Feature Production. 1998 Grammy Awards, 1. Best Song Written Specifically for Motion Picture or for Television. 1997 MTV Movie Awards, Nomination, Best Movie Song. 1997 Satellite Awards, Nomination, Best Motion Picture Animated or Mixed Media. 1998 World Animation Celebration, 1. Best Use of Animation in a Motion Picture Trailer. 1997 Young Artist Awards, Nomination, Best Family Feature Animation or Special Effects. In other media, the Monsters make a cameo in the Pinky and the Brain/Animaniacs episode Star Warners. Jordan himself, who was a spokesman for MCI Communications before the film was made, would appear with the Looney Tunes characters in several MCI commercials for several years after the film was released before MCI merged with WorldCom and subsequently Verizon Communications. Possible sequel. In February 2014, Warner Brothers announced a sequel, set to star professional basketball player LeBron James. Charlie Ebersol will produce through his production company, The Company, with a script by his brother, Willie Ebersol. John Berg will executive produce. Representatives of James denied the claim that he would be involved, but rumor has it that it may still be in development. In May 2014, LeBron was quoted as saying, "I've always loved Space Jam. It was one of my favorite movies growing up. If I have the opportunity, it will be great." Further rumors are that James or Kevin Durant may also star as new monsters. References. External links. Official website, Space Jam at the Internet Movie Database, Space Jam at the TCM Movie Database, Space Jam at the Big Cartoon Database, Space Jam at Rotten Tomatoes, Space Jam at AllMovie, Space Jam at Box Office Mojo.